Alright guys, this is a long play review for Galaxy Force on the Amstrad CPC. It's an arcade conversion, so we're going to look at the arcade original first, which was released in the arcades by Sega in 1988, and it uses the Sega Y board, which games like G-Lock and Power Drift use. Now, most people would have come across this as Galaxy Force 2 in the arcades, but it's not to be confused as being a sequel. Besides a change in the title screen, there are very few differences between the two, just that it adds extra levels, addresses a number of bugs, and allows you to choose a starting location. Otherwise, it's identical, kind of similar to Afterburner 1 and 2 then. Now, there's three cab versions. There's the upright version, which you see there on the flyer there in the bottom left. The deluxe in white, and also there was the super deluxe, which looks kind of like a moonlander buggy type thing. The sit down version also comes with a large circular platform that can rotate 335 degrees left and right, and a seat that can incline 15 degrees forward and back. But some places on the internet incorrectly state that this is only for Galaxy Force 1, but it was available for Galaxy Force 2. So you can choose the levels. You do them in any order you wish, but once you've completed all 5, you can move on to mission 6. Now we're going to take a quick look at, I think we'll go through all of mission 1 here, and then have a quick look at all the other missions very quickly. Okay, so as you can see, it's a space shooter game, kind of on rails, very similar to Afterburner. There's a ship that appears and gives you a power up. I believe what this does is allows you to fire more missiles. It's kind of actually hard to tell that you are firing more missiles or not. No one's really quite sure on that one. So there are 5 different planets and missions, and the 6th one after you complete all 5, as I mentioned already, and no continues allowed on the final stage. So you generally split into sort of 2 sections. First, you're flying through the either the outside of the planet or on the planet, and then you go inside kind of a tunnel system to reach the enemy base and blow it up. Your ship there is called the Try-Z, Try-Z. Oh yes, of course, you start off with a shield for your ship, you can see it in the bottom left corner, and an energy value which is constantly decreasing. When your shield is gone, the damage taken to your ship then affects the energy, decreasing it further. But the aim is to fly as fast as possible, seeing as your energy drains at a constant rate, and it doesn't matter what speed you're going. Controls are just like its earlier cousin Afterburner, and there's the base just blowing up. So you have lasers to shoot enemies, and you might as well just keep that fire button just pinned down. In fact, in the Amstrad version, it is just constantly on. And also, you get your crosshairs over an enemy target, it will lock on, and then you can fire your missiles with a separate button. And you've got a separate sort of throttle stick to control your speed. Although I kind of, okay, yeah, we're just moving on to mission 3 there. I'm just showing the key scenes there, really, just so you can see how it will compare to the Amstrad version. Note like the waterfall here on mission 3. And I think this has like these plants that suddenly just grow up out the ground. Yeah, there it is. Make a note of that. And we'll see how the Amstrad version does. Mission 4 here. Yes, this has got tornadoes. Mission 5. Note the starting sequence before each mission is different. Make a note of that when we remember that when we look at the Amstrad version shortly. Yes, a sort of train-like enemy here. Make a note of that. And also, we're just going to show you the tunnel section here. This is the first mission where the tunnel actually starts moving up and down. and you've got to fly accordingly, as well as like spinning left and right to get around bends. And this is the final mission. Check out the wormhole section at the start. Again, keep a mental note of that for when we come to the Amstrad version and the final level there. And this should be the final bit of the final mission. And what I'm going to do, guys, here is I'm just going to allow the ending of the game to play out. It's kind of important for when we see the ending of the Amstrad version. So there you go, guys. That is Galaxy Force, the arcade version. The story goes, I'll give you the backstory. The evil Fourth Empire, ruled by Halison, whatever, begins a campaign of galactic conquest after laying waste to almost all the star systems in the galaxy. An interstellar organization known as the Space Federation launches Galaxy Force, an elite starfighter corps specializing in space combat to free the galaxy from oppressive rule of the Halcyon, whatever, and the Fourth Empire. A lone fighter wages a one-man war against Halcyon and his forces. Anyway, let's move on to the Amstrad version. This was released by Activision in 1989. Now, I can tell you the programmer of this was Keith Burkill, alias KCB Games. Most notably and importantly here, he did the Afterburner conversion in 1988. Ooh, that's not a nice loading screen there. Both this version and the conversion of Afterburner both share much similarities, just like the arcade game. But definitely in code and execution, which we'll come to later. Keith Burkill also apparently coded Back to the Future Part 3, Battleships Commando had a part in that at least, Exterminator and Marauder. That is quite a resume. There we go. Graphics by Focus CE. That is a guy called Sal Marchese. Again, he also did the graphics in Afterburner. Also, his CV for the Amstrad has Aliens, the UK version, Big Trouble in Little China, oh dear, Enduro Racer, Super Hang-On, Ghostbusters 2, but has a credit as producer, strangely, and Nightmare, which is a mixed bag. Okay, we're just going to redefine our keys here. Speed toggle is one button to change the speed, so we're going to use the space bar there. I'm going to have inverted y-axes, so pull back to go up and stuff. And finally, actually hear some music, and we can actually choose the level to start on, just like in the arcade. The musician is Paul Hilly. Apparently did the excellent music on the otherwise awful Altered Beast. And his CPC CV also has Dragon Breed, Hot Rod, MiG-29, Ninja Spirit, Rockstar Ate My Hamster, Space Crusade, and strangely the Wombles. But the music here is pretty crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, Paul, if you're watching this. Not your best work, mate. So that's enough of that. There are some little different music at the end of the video to hear from the high score table, and there we go. Oh, we got the little opening sequence there as you take off, which is pretty cool. And away we go. Lock onto the targets and fire your missiles, but your lasers are always on. Those little black dots coming out there. Picked up the power up. Apparently that allows me to fire more missiles. And so far actually looks okay. Graphics are nice and colourful. Just a shame that planet is just a giant yellow circle. Maybe that's not been the graphics artist being lazy, maybe it was a programming reason to get good frame rate or something like that. And we're already straight onto the enemy fortress. How's it going to handle the 3D here and the tunnel sections? Not bad actually. The speed is pretty decent and the frame rate is okay. certainly for an 8-bit machine and the Amstrad. So it handles the walls there by sort of having the slabs of rectangular sort of shapes, but it actually works pretty well. It does give the illusion of you know, a tunnel and an illusion of speed. Works fairly well. As you can see, we've got the ship shield in the bottom left corner, energy in the middle there, ticking down. And here's the end fortress boss to blow up. And we get a nice little jingle of music there, actually. So that's pretty nice. So yeah, that's a good energy bonus to end on. So yes, you must keep shooting things and blowing things up. The more things you blow up, the more energy you're going to get. Oh, there you go. Look at that. That's a nice little intro there. And that's accurate to the arcade, as is the Fireball Storm here. This mission is actually a little bit tougher than the first, of course. Oh yes, it's got the flamey snake thing. Now, if you want to avoid those fire bolts from the sky, you want to go to sort of the top right of the screen, but not too high up. So I'm always always over towards the right of the screen, or moving to the right away from enemies. But I'm always trying to move sort of left and right to get things targeted and shoot them. But that sort of fire snake thing can take off a lot of energy from you, so it's not worth risking taking damage. Now, as for completing this game, you're going to need to, well, be as careful as possible. Shoot as many things and preserve as much energy as possible. You only get 1 credit and continue in this version, and you're probably going to need it. Now, it's kind of hard to tell how well you're doing. It's kind of odd having an energy thing with a value that high, sort of in 1000 or 2000, which is constantly ticking down. It's hard to gauge just how well you're doing. So most people, when they play this game, kind of just blast through. Oh, I've taken a hit there. I've taken a hit here and there or whatever. I've not died, so let's just carry on. Not realising they're actually doing pretty crap, and there's no chance of getting enough energy to survive through to the final mission. It's a lot easier to know when you have a finite number of lives rather than like a large energy value counting down, if you see what I'm getting at, I mean there. So, compared to Afterburner, where you get a certain number of ships to fly, planes to fly, sorry, it's hard to gauge how well you're doing. So a lot of people prefer Afterburner to Galaxy Force, and I can see why. I actually think I like this better than Afterburner. It's got it's got a better presentation and variety, especially when you got like these tunnel sections, which later on do get quite frustrating. But it adds a decent variety to the game. Okay, so let's talk about speed, because it's important in this game. Right, it looks like you take off at full velocity at the start of a level, but it's awkward to know what speed you're going at sometimes. It's only the final mission which starts you off, strangely, at the slowest speed possible. In fact, it starts you off with nothing. And I guess it's because of the difficulty of the first tunnel in that level, which we'll come to in a bit. But it's hard to tell. Oh, there's those plants that shoot up. And there's the waterfall. Get high up, get high up. But guys, it's hard to tell what speed you are going. So I've experimented around, and I've set the space bar to set the speed. And often, normal speed and top speed, I can't tell the difference, and I think the game is actually starting you off at full speed. So don't mess with the speed controls, basically. Just blast through it as quick as you can. So yeah, it's one key to cycle between the speeds. And I believe it works the same as the Afterburner conversion, where repeated presses cycle between normal, fast, normal, slow, and so on, and then etc. But it's hard to tell, so I wouldn't bother messing about. Yes, and one thing I haven't mentioned, I had some problems recording this video. For some reason, I've been recording this video in Win8 emulator, and it's not picking up sound effects a lot of the time. Notice I'm firing the missiles there, and there was no sound of the missiles being fired. That is strange. You do hear them sometimes, and also sometimes if you scrape your ship against the side of the walls, you don't hear the sound effect. I don't know why that is. I've only had that problem once in Win8, and it was tough enough beating this game without using cheats and snapshots and stuff. But I never checked the final video, and I don't particularly want to do this all again because it took a huge number of attempts to complete and do well. You'll notice that I'm already on mission 3, and I've still got my shield intact. I think it's on its last hit, the shield, and it's important that you last as far as you can, even up to mission 3 here. I must have only taken about 3 or 4 hits. And how often most people, and including myself when I first played this, the shield is gone in the first mission, so you not realise just how much damage you've sort of taken. It can be hard to tell that you've actually been hit sometimes. Yeah, I think you could hear the missiles being fired there. But now you can't hear the missiles. I don't know why, guys. I apologise. So bear in mind, there are some sound effects missing in this long play that should be there. And it's not the fault of the programmer or anything like that. It's a recording issue from an emulator. Anyway. So it's kind of weirdly silent for large parts. Sorry. Would have been nice to have some in-game music, but I presume that would have negatively impacted on the speed and frame rate. Alright, now the tunnels here, we're starting to having to go up and down. This is actually quite difficult. And now it's going up again. And yeah. So we're doing really well here. I have actually lost my shields, just realised. So now any damage we take will start shaking chunks off the energy. But we've got a massively high energy value there of 2,900. And now we're going to accumulate even more. So yeah, guys, if you manage to make it to mission 4 and you've got over 4,000 energy there, you're doing really well, and there's a good chance you might actually complete this. So that's your target. And another nice different intro there to coming in to the level. Oh, and those green things there, they're meant to be the tornadoes that you saw in the arcade version. I don't know why they're green. And they don't look like tornadoes, but still, it looks alright. Yeah, as I said, guys, get as many hits as you can on those enemies to give you those that energy bonus at the end. Every hit counts. So yeah, I did like this game at the time. I bought this with my pocket money at full price after saving up for a bit. Oh, there's that train thingy that we saw in the arcade version. And I was really happy just how accurate it was to the arcade version. It has an awful lot of stuff included. Oh look, it's even got the flying wasp fly things that I don't think you saw in the footage I had at the start of the video, but they are there in the arcade version. So someone has really studied the arcade version really closely and tried to get as much of it as possible in the Amstrad version. And you know what? It looks and plays really well. Much better than the Space Harrier games and conversions on the Amstrad. So I kind of enjoyed this, even though I never seemed to do very well in it as a kid. I now realise about, you know, shooting as much as possible, avoiding as much damage as possible, and knowing, like, targeting myself, like, you know, getting and having at least 4,000 energy when I get to mission 4, and being very, very careful in the tunnels, because having such a high energy value, taking a few hits here and there, you think, oh, I've got tons of energy left. No, you'll run out. Think of it as a timer, like in Outrun, when you got to get between stages, and you know, if you crash a few times in Outrun, you'll never get to the end of, you know, the 5th stage or whatever. Same thing here. But magazines at the time were kind of mixed to a little bit negative about the game. Certainly on the Amstrad Action magazine didn't like it, giving it a 40% in issue 54. I think is pretty harsh, actually. Yet they gave Afterburner a rave award at Accolade, and weirdly 85%. To be honest, there's not that much difference between them, and I think there's probably more to this than the Afterburner conversion. Then again, I have fonder memories of Afterburner, both in the arcades and at home. I think technically this might be the better game. It certainly came. It was certainly done after Afterburner. So I had to sort of think of what I prefer. Oh yes, another nice sort of cutscene intro there, starting the level off. That's cool. Now I can't remember what score I gave Afterburner in my Longplay review of it. I guess I would have probably given Afterburner an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. And I think for Galaxy Force, it would be a similar score, 8 or 8.5 out of 10. The problem I have with Galaxy Force is the final mission coming up and the start of it, which doesn't work very well. It's the Wormhole section that's sort of in the arcade. It's really crap on the Amstrad. And it's near impossible to beat. Well, very carefully you can, or you can reduce your speed. Now, will that affect my final score? I still like this a lot. I think it's a very, very good conversion. And I think my final score for it, because we're coming up towards the end now, because this is mission 5, beat this, and then we're on the final mission. So I think I'll give my final score now. It would be somewhere between 8 and 8.5 out of 10. I think maybe 8.25. How about that? You know, like an 82, 83% or something like that. So there you go, guys. That's my score for this game. But I've been meaning to do this Longplay for a really long time. It's one of the games I kind of want to beat all the games I had as a kid and played a lot. Galaxy Force, I did play quite a bit actually, although it was a nightmare on a cassette. And the reason why I haven't done this one, and it's taken me this long to do it, is the next mission coming up and the Wormhole section. And I should point out as well, there's a few little glitches in the video where it stutters a bit, loses a few frames. Apologies for that. I'm not sure if that will come out obviously in the final video. It'd be too obvious or whatever. And yeah, there are stages like this one where you will start out out on the planet surface, go into the tunnel section, then come back out onto the planet surface, and then do a final tunnel section. So it splits it up like that sometimes too. Now these enemy ships are a real pain in the backside, because they fly in from behind you and easily knock off energy, so you got to have your wits about you. And this is a really awkward tunnel section because it's moving up and down. Guys, again, because this is a long play and obviously it's me completing the game, I'm probably making it look easier than it is. Especially these tunnel sections can be a real nightmare, especially on this map. I think we'll see it coming up shortly, where there's just a tight left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. The timing for it is ridiculously hard. I don't know how I managed to scrape through it. I think I take some hits there as well. So I think it should be coming up shortly. No, it was the earlier section. Before we went back out on the planet surface, where there's like a left, right, left, right, left, right. I think I missed it while I was jabbering away, but man, that was hard. That was really hard, and somehow I've managed to still have nearly 4,000 energy left, which should give us just about enough to get through this final damn mission. Now, when this starts off, you're not moving. For some reason, to start this level, you're at 0 speed. So this is where you need to use the speed toggle. And as you see, I'm already hitting the walls there. This is really awkward to navigate through and to tell where your positioning is and if you're going to hit a wall at the side of the tunnel or not. The wormhole, sorry. You have to play it to understand and experience just how stupid and difficult this bit is. You have to try and imagine that you're not in like a circular tunnel thing, but actually you're navigating like one of those tunnels in the previous levels with walls. Once you understand that, you might be able to sort of get through that. So now I think I've just put myself up to full speed, because we don't want our energy to run out. Now things are a lot more easier. Just watch out for this little bit here, navigating through these sort of poles and things, and know when to fly under and when to fly over. Just follow my lead. And there we are, onto the final fortress. Actually, it's this one that has the ridiculous left, right, left, right, left, right. Yeah, check that there. That's what I was on about. I thought it was the last planet. It's actually this one, of course. This bit here, and this one coming up. Oh god, it's ridiculously hard. Look how much energy I'm losing there. I've just done it, and that is the final bit. Yeah, I ended up with only about 1,000 energy left. That's why you need to save up so much, and I've done it without using a credit as well. So if I died there, I probably would have got through it, because you have credits and you have your energy restored and shield restored. And here's the end game sequence. And check it out, it is identical to the arcade version. Apart from it doesn't have that little ship that flies through at the start, it is exactly the same, with the same text and how it appears, and then how the text disappears and stuff like that. So I've even got the ending accurate to the arcade version. Now it's a pretty simple ending, just got basically a screen, and that large ship flies in from the left, and just a bunch of text. But that's what the arcade version had. So it is a bit of a crap ending, but that's what the arcade version had as its ending. So what can you do? So there you go, guys. A very, very good arcade conversion in my view. Yeah, it is fairly limited. It's kind of awkward sort of flying your ship and knowing when you've targeted stuff and what's happening on the screen. There's so many missiles and things and explosions happening, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on. It's hard to tell when you're taking hits. Some of those tunnel sections are a nightmare, and perhaps collision detection on those tunnel sections isn't 100% perfect. However, they've been very, very faithful to the arcade, have crammed in as much as possible, and gone above and beyond the Call of Duty really, because they could have just filled the levels up with just generic little spaceship enemies, but no, they've included like that green plant that suddenly springs out the floor. It's got the giant waterfall you need to fly over. You've got the volcano level fiery planet with like the balls of fire from the sky and this fiery snake thing. Excellent. The only reason I'm not giving it 8.5 out of 10 is that tunnel section at the end, which is appallingly done, unfortunately. So it's like an 8.25. So have a little listen to the music. But that's all from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all again very soon. So click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, and all that stuff if you haven't already. So cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Goodbye. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Xyphoe out.